also reach the year milestone. So what is sensory play? Well, sensory play is pretty much probably what your 1-year-old is already trying to do. They will be using their sight, their hearing, their balance, their movement, their sense of smell, touch, taste to investigate, explore and learn. They will be doing that naturally and it is inbuilt in them to do that. Unfortunately, at the moment they can't read and learn things, so they are learning through doing. So as a parent, if we can provide and facilitate different opportunities for our children to investigate things through their senses, we're just helping their development and aiding their exploration of different aspects of their life. So in this video, I've put together 10 different activities that cover a range of different senses, and I really hope that you enjoy watching them, and I hope that you will try them out with your child. And if you do, don't forget to put a comment in the box below and let me know how it's gone. And if you've got any other ideas. Depending on where you live, getting out into nature, doing some gardening is probably one of the easiest sensory activities you can do for your child. Getting into the garden can provide so many opportunities. Here's Oscar with his hands in dirt. He helps with the watering of the plants, feeling the cold water, getting out into nature and seeing the bees like here in the lavender field. He's also learnt to pick strawberries, find them under all the leaves, smell them, taste them, and also helps my dad with collecting up the leaves in the garden. So the opportunities are endless for sensory development. The smells, tastes, moving around is a great activity for tactile and visual development, as well as improving your child's fine motor skills. I got these little sponge paintbrushes from the pound shop in a big pack of paintbrushes and things, and just some sugar paper for mark making, and it is super fun, and especially if you're not a fan of too much mess, this is probably the activity for you. Opportunities for sensory play. First, we bought these animal ones from Melissa and Doug. They really support our nursery rhyme songs and also our storytelling, and Oscar loves to pick them up out of the box and place them on the radiators, which is another bonus of being back in the UK, that we have big magnetic surfaces. These have lovely pictures of animals, so really support visual learning, and his fine motor skills are also developed by being able to pick them up and place them up on the radiator. We do lots of singing with them, supporting his auditory learning, and obviously talking about the animals, and I'm also doing baby sign language with him so that he learns the signs for each animal. Sand, also known as cloud sand, is a recent discovery for us. I noticed that Oscar was really enjoying being out in the garden and having his hands in dirt, and I just thought to provide more opportunities for him to feel different textures, that moon sand would be a good opportunity. So I use a really simple recipe, which is 4 cups of flour for half a cup of baby oil, and you just mix it around in a big bowl with a spoon, and Oscar also helps me to do it, and it actually keeps really well. I just keep it in a sealed container and then just bring it out whenever he wants to play with it, and it seems to have kept really well. So moon sand is brilliant because it is so soft to touch and really cool actually as well. It also holds together really well, so you can make shapes and kind of snowball shapes, or pack it into a container and then break it apart, and this is what Oscar loves to do with it. He doesn't tend to squeeze it together, he's not at that stage yet, but maybe an older child could. The bread basket really supports your child's problem solving skills as well as their fine motor skills. All you need is a laundry basket and some rope. Just weave in and out the rope to create a web and place some objects that will interest your child underneath. Oscar really loves doing this, and it intrigues him every single time. It's always handy to put objects in there that he hasn't seen for a while as well, but he loves this activity. Newspaper floor is as easy as it sounds, just spreading the newspaper across the floor and letting your child crawl along it. This really supports their auditory learning as they're hearing that crunching sound which babies and toddlers love, but also being able to see the colours and the pictures from the newspaper is really an added bonus. Oscar loves also just picking up and ripping the pages, so many different senses are being supported here. Edible finger paint, all you're going to need is some yogurt and some food colouring. I use one of these dishes with little sections in with a spoonful of yogurt, a little bit of food colouring, and then I make a myriad of rainbow colours. I then give him some brushes, sponges, and his fingers to paint with, and he can do that on some paper. The only thing with this is you're not going to end up with a picture that you can keep, because obviously yogurt isn't going to mark make that well, but it does provide them with an opportunity to get their hands dirty in yogurt, and you know that if they eat it, it's not going to be a problem. It's a great one for the garden as well, and Oscar really enjoys painting himself. Posting is a skill that many children around this age will start to love. I noticed as soon as Oscar was getting towards 1 that he was loving putting things in and out of boxes. So I just cut a large hole in a cereal packet and gave him a pack of cards. Don't expect to ever get those cards back or them be in usable order. But he loves picking up these cards and posting them into the box. By providing opportunities for your child to do the posting skill, you'll be working on their visual and tactile development as well as their hand-eye coordination. You can try a range of different objects to post into. So we've got a big large jar that Oscar posts wooden balls and people into, so there's lots of opportunity to work on the posting skill. Final activity, which is rainbow oats. All you need is a cup of oats in a big bowl and a variety of food colouring. You will need about 1/4 cup of water, possibly slightly less, with some food colouring in it. Give it a good mix to distribute the food colouring and then add it gradually to your oats. Depending on the food colouring that you use, I'm using gels, will depend on the colouring that you get from the oats. Mine didn't colour completely, but it worked out really nicely. So I made red, orange, yellow, green and blue oats and just laid it on paper towel overnight to really absorb all the moisture. You want them to be super dry before you give them to your child. I then put them in a container and gave Oscar a variety of implements to use to play with them. He loved using the big spoon. He also had a little lunchbox container which he filled and unfilled, and he just enjoys that experience and tactile activity.